Good morning. Happy Thursday. Yay. It's a melting fest out there for us here in Toronto. All the beautiful snow we had for the last, I don't know, month or so, month is slowly disappearing. How about where you are? Let me know where you are watching from or where you're watching the replay from. So I want to talk to you guys today about the work that you need to do to lose the weight for good. Okay, so if you're looking for weight loss, it's less about the food that you eat and more about what it is that you are feeling that drives you to food when you are not hungry, as well as not being able to stop when you are actually full. I got a piece of hair in my eye here. It's poking me. There we go. There it is. And this is really important to know because, Fit and Fierce is really not about another diet. In fact, we rarely talk about food other than just sharing recipes and eating healthy foods that are not just healthy foods, but eating foods that are yummy, but mostly in vegetables. But anyways, the reason why I want to talk about this is the kind of work that you need to do when it comes to losing weight for good is really about getting deep into those emotions. Because a lot of times when women are carrying extra weight, there's something else that's going on that makes it really hard to lose the weight for good. There's no question that the diet culture has a huge impact on the way you think about food and the way you think about your body, and as well as the things that the things that you think you should be doing, when in fact it's none of those things. We all know that getting on a diet program is very short-lived. It's it's unsustainable, and it's no fun. Restrictions are no fun. And the kind of work that I do here is really about being able to eat all your foods all your favorite foods. So if you like cakes and hamburgers, you can eat all that kind of food. The work that I'm talking about here is really about digging deeper into your emotions as to why it's so hard to lose the weight, let alone lose the weight for good. So let me just tell you about what I've been going through. And this applies not just to weight loss, but it applies as well to energy, if you're lacking energy in your body, even body pain. And it could be body pain in terms of aches and pains in your joints. And it could also be tightness in your muscles. And it could even be from an injury. Let's say you rolled your ankle and you sprained your ankle or even broke your ankle 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and it's still really stiff and it's still continuing to give you problems. There are emotions attached to every single one of those things that stops us from doing or living our life and being happy in our bodies. So what I'm trying to say here is that I lost my train of thought. What I'm trying to say here is we tend to focus only on the physical body, okay? When in fact, when it comes to any of those things that I mentioned, weight loss, body pain, energy, and so on, you have to deal with the issue from an emotional perspective. We have stored emotions in our body. We're talking happy emotions and not so happy emotions. So things like guilt and shame, which we talk about a lot, okay? And that not just pertaining to food, but pertaining to how you feel about your body and why do you feel guilt and shame. Another one would be things like guilt and shame for sure, maybe embarrassment, fear of judgment or fear or control. These types of emotions stop us from getting to our goal. And it's these types of things that you need to work on to release these negative emotions that are stored inside our body. And for everybody, it's different. So weight gain, everybody is different. So what I'm trying to say here too is you've got to look at the reasons why you feel the way you feel about your body and start peeling back all these onion layers. So I've got some body pain in my body. It probably didn't start to develop till after 40. Yeah, after 40. More like closer to 50s. I'm 50. I'll be turning 53 this year. And I noticed it 4 years ago when we go on long bike rides that I was getting a sore tightness in my low back and my left side. And I've always noticed it, and I stretch and do all kinds of things, go to massage, go to chiro, you name it, I've done it. And it's like, yeah, and I've always had the idea that whatever I didn't have and I have now, I can get rid of. So I've always had that mindset. If I didn't have it before, I can get rid of it. So 4 years later, and this is just recently, I was like, okay, you know what? I've actually even gone to the chiropractor and gotten x-rays. And although it's not scoliosis, what's happening is the muscles along in my low back are so tight, it's actually changing the shape of my spine. Not extreme to the point where it's scoliosis. However, it's changing. So I was like, interesting. So I've been doing my own self-healing as well. And things that came up, and what I've noticed is I carry all my negative emotions on the left side of my body, most of them. Some are on the right side, but mostly on the left side. So I focus mostly on my left side. And I remember, talking to my energy healer years ago that like knee pain started happening, or actually it was toe pain, bunion. Then it actually started with a hip pain years ago when I was a kid, like in my early teens. And then when I was about 38, 39, I noticed I started developing a bunion in my left toe. And then it progressed into my left knee, and burning sensations and tightness through there, and weak, imbalanced muscles as well that are physical as we know it. And, in doing my own healing work, a lot of it has to do with fear of moving forward. Any joint related problems has to do with fear of moving forward. So working through what you need to get through to pass those emotions, to liberate yourself, in other words, right? And it does make a difference. And it's interesting and it really is peeling back all the young in here. So I dealt with fear of moving forward, and I realized I was having control issues around my work, around my body, my personal life, and so on and so on. But yet the body pain still persisted in my low back, in my left hip, in my left knee, all the way down to my left toe, literally where all my physical issues are on my left side. And so recently, literally just in the last few days, what came up for me was regret. It was an emotion that I was holding on to, a regret. And the regret that I was holding on to was I always wanted to have babies and I didn't end up having any. And I realized it has nothing to do with my fear of being pregnant was far greater than the desire to have the baby. And that's why I didn't end up having children. But I didn't know this at the time. And I had to work through that. And as well, and then I had to go through my whole entire life about all the regrets I had in my life. So sometimes I jumped around from my teens. So I remember when I was younger in primary school, I remember I fell off the vault and I never went back to it. So I regretted not pursuing and getting over my fears of falling off the vault. And then so on and so on, and through my 20s and through my 30s, through my 40s. And then in the end, for me, was, having children at the end. So that was a huge one. And I realized, and as I'm releasing these emotions, I could feel there's like a burning sensation, it's more like a burning feeling. It doesn't hurt, but a sensation in my body that these emotions were slowly releasing. And I managed to release all the regret in my body. However, there was still some tension in my left hip and even in my lower left abdomen and in my knee. And this morning I was like, okay, what else is there? What else is there? And I realized, I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's control. And what came up with control was controlling my emotions, controlling what I showed to the world as who I am. And the reason why I controlled it was because I was fear of being ashamed for who I am, fear of being embarrassed for who I am, thinking that there's something wrong with me. Clearly, there's nothing wrong with any of us, but it's just how we feel. And as well, fear of judgment. And that's what came up for me this morning. And I decided to think back, okay, when did this start happening? When did I start feeling feelings of shame, embarrassment, and fear of judgment? And I started thinking as far back as I could go. And it was probably like 2-3 years old. maybe, my mother commented on something like, oh my goodness, she's still sleeping. And I took it as like, oh my God, I shouldn't be sleeping. There's something wrong with me. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be awake. And these feelings perpetuated through your whole entire life, and it shows up in your body. So for some people, it will show up in weight gain or inability to lose the weight. It could show up as body pain, and it could feel like you wrenched your back or you sprained your ankle, you sprained your knee, but that pain still persists. Yes, there's physical pain for sure, but there is also emotional pain. It could show up as if food intolerances or food allergies, or even things like diagnoses like fibromyalgia, things like that. It is also very big in our age category. So it can show up in a myriad different ways in our body when it comes to these negative emotions. So if you are truly, truly ready to lose the weight for good and do that work, I am right here to guide you, support you, direct you, and to also, we have a community in the private fit, in the members community to support you along the way. And here's the good news. The good news is you only have to do this once. When I got rid of all my regret, I never have to deal with regret again. I never have to deal with shame again. Once I realized, okay, where I felt shameful in my body, in what instances, right? You only have to do this once and it's gone forever. And when you get rid of all these little things that are harboring inside your body, you are actually living in freedom. Like you're actually free from your emotions. Because, when you look at young children, for example, like 3, 4, 5, 6, up until pre-teenage years, for good reason, is that you see how joyful children are. They're born happy. They're born with joy and love, and they're just a bright, shining light. That's how we should be living through our whole entire life. And what's happening here is a lot of women believe that having aches and pains is normal. Having food intolerances is normal. Gaining weight has become normal, even though women don't like it. It's not normal. It's become normal, but it's not. I mean, you think about the conversations and the words that are being used around groups of women in conversations. Think about what's being said here. Oh, I'm so tired. Things like fatigue is another big one. We should not be feeling tired as we get older. We should be feeling vibrant, energetic, and full of life all the way to all the way to the end of life. We just dwindle down and then it's over. But essentially, that's how our life should be. But it's become normal to have pain in our body. It's become normal to have food intolerances, allergies, and to have fibromyalgia, and to have what are those things called? I can't remember, but you know what I mean, like body pain issues. Issues with weight, gaining weight, inability to lose weight. That's become normal. It is not normal, ladies. It is not normal. And we've normalized that, and being happy and joyful has become like the scary, unknown thing. And I urge you to ask yourself if you're willing to do this type of work. And I'll tell you, it's literally getting yourself out of jail, this mental, emotional, physical jail that women are living in when they are unhappy with their bodies. And it's no fun. Is that really, like, we're in our 40s and 50s and maybe even in our 60s. Is that really how you want to live the rest of your life? Or do you want to live your life like full of joy and happy, and you're always looking forward to anything, to adventure, to fun, to love, to laughter? That's what life is about, not about body pain and weight gain and inability and all this unhappiness in our body. So if you're ready, or if you have any questions, feel free to post down here below, or feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you get to all your weight loss goals or health and fitness goals with the most amount of ease as possible. Because when you're working with a coach, it really commits you. It really, really does. And commitment is good, because when you commit, you get results. It's when you're only interested when you only do it from Monday to Friday and not on Saturday and Sunday, you're not going to get results. And then you're on this emotional roller coaster all the time of like, oh, I'm feeling really good. Oh, I'm feeling really sad. Oh, I'm feeling really that's no fun. I want you to be happy like this all the time. And you are worth the work that you put in. You are worth it. And I will leave it there. All right. So have yourselves a great Thursday. And I will see you next Monday for, I believe it's an exercise lab. All right. See you soon. Bye.